Imagine that for just one moment, the mind becomes completely silent. No memories from the past. No plans for tomorrow. No worries about what might happen. No inner voice repeating your name, your story, your successes, your failures, your hopes, and your fears. For one silent moment, the endless movement of thought comes to rest. Then a strange question appears. Who are you when the mind becomes silent? Most of us have never seriously asked this question because throughout our lives we have been taught to identify ourselves with the mind. We believe that we are the collection of our memories, our opinions, our desires, our fears, and the story we constantly tell ourselves about who we are. But the mind is always changing. A thought that seemed important yesterday may mean nothing today. An opinion you once strongly defended may disappear. A fear that controlled you for years may one day lose its power. Your desires change, your beliefs change, and even the image you have of yourself changes again and again. If everything within the mind is constantly changing, can the changing mind alone be the deepest answer to the question, who am I? The ancient sages of India turned toward this mystery thousands of years ago. They observed the restless movement of the mind and discovered something simple but profound. Thoughts come and go, but they are known. Memories appear and disappear, but they are known. Emotions rise and fall, but they are known. Even silence is known. So what is this mysterious presence that knows the movement of the mind and also knows when the mind becomes quiet? Imagine a vast sky. Clouds appear in countless shapes. Some are dark and heavy, some are bright and beautiful, and some disappear almost as soon as they appear. The sky does not have to stop the clouds from moving. It simply allows them to come and go. In the same way, thoughts move through the mind. One moment there is a thought about the past. The next moment there is fear about the future. Then comes a memory, a desire, an image, a worry, a plan. The movement never seems to end. But perhaps you are not every cloud that passes through the sky. Perhaps there is something deeper, like the open space in which every cloud appears. When the clouds disappear, the sky does not disappear with them. And when thoughts become quiet, perhaps something remains. We often fear silence because silence can feel empty. The mind has become so accustomed to constant activity that when there is no thought to follow, it begins searching for another one. Sit quietly for a few moments and you may notice this for yourself. A thought appears. You follow it. Another thought appears. You follow that one too. The mind moves from yesterday to tomorrow and from one imagined situation to another. But occasionally, between two thoughts, there may be a brief moment of stillness. Usually, we do not notice it because another thought quickly arrives. Yet, that brief stillness contains an important question. When one thought has disappeared and the next has not yet appeared, do you disappear? Something is still present. There is still being. There is still awareness. You do not need a thought saying, I exist, in order to be present. Before the thought appears, you are. While the thought is present, you are. After the thought disappears, you are still here. This is one of the deepest directions of self-inquiry. Instead of asking the mind to give you another answer about who you are, turn attention toward the one who is aware of the mind itself. Ramana Maharshi expressed this inquiry through the simple question, who am I? But the purpose of this question is not to create another sentence for the mind to believe. If you answer, I am this body, you can observe the body. If you answer, I am my thoughts, you can observe your thoughts. If you answer, I am my memories, memories appear and disappear before you. If you answer, I am my personality, even your personality has changed throughout your life. So self-inquiry gently asks, who is aware of all of these things? Do not rush to create an answer. Simply remain with the question. The mind may become uncomfortable because it wants something to hold. It wants a name, an image, a definition, or a conclusion. But perhaps the truth cannot be held as another object. Perhaps the one searching is already the one that is being sought. Think about deep sleep. Every night, the familiar world disappears from your ordinary experience. Your name disappears. Your problems disappear. Your ambitions disappear. Even the continuous story of your personality is not actively present in the same way. Yet when you wake, you do not usually feel that you are completely destroyed. You simply say that you slept. The ancient sages looked deeply into waking, dreaming, and deep sleep and asked what remains through all these changing conditions. In waking, you experience one world. In dreams, another world appears. In deep sleep, both disappear from ordinary experience. These states come and go like scenes in a great drama. But your existence does not depend on one particular thought remaining forever. The mind may be active, dreaming, peaceful, confused, or temporarily silent. Every condition changes. This is why the sages encouraged us to search for what does not depend upon these changing conditions. Advaita Vedanta points toward awareness as the silent reality in which all these experiences appear. This does not mean that you must reject your mind. The mind is a wonderful instrument. It allows you to learn, remember, communicate, imagine, create, and understand. The problem begins only when you believe that the movement of the mind is the whole of who you are. A mirror can reflect thousands of different images without becoming any one of them. It may reflect happiness, sadness, beauty, or pain, yet the mirror remains the mirror. In the same way, awareness knows different experiences without needing to become limited by each experience. A thought of anger appears. It is known. A thought of happiness appears. It is known. A painful memory appears. It is known. Then the mind becomes silent for a moment. That silence too is known. Notice the mystery here. If silence is known, then there's something present even when thought is absent. You do not need to create this presence. It is already here. Meditation, in its deepest sense, may not be about forcing yourself to become empty. The more you fight every thought, the more attention you give to the mind. Instead, simply notice. Let a thought come. Know that it has come. Let it remain for as long as it remains. Know that it is present. Then let it disappear. Know that it has disappeared. Gradually, you may begin to recognize that peace does not always require the complete destruction of thought. Peace can begin when you stop believing that every thought deserves your complete identification. You can watch the mind without becoming lost inside every movement of the mind. And perhaps when the mind becomes quiet, even for a brief moment, you begin to notice something that has been present your entire life. Not a person sitting somewhere inside the body. Not an image. Not another voice. Simply the silent fact of being aware. The Upanishadic sages spoke about the Atman, the innermost self, not as another object that can be found somewhere in space, but as the deepest reality of the one who knows. They asked us to look beyond temporary names and forms and investigate the mystery of existence itself. You have had countless thoughts throughout your life. Many have already disappeared forever. You have forgotten things that once seemed impossible to forget. You have changed in ways your younger self could never have imagined. Yet through every change, there has been a simple sense of presence. You have always known, in some immediate way, that you are. Before every description, there is this simple fact. I am. The mind quickly adds something after it. I am happy. I am sad. I am successful. I am afraid. I am this person. I am that person. But before every description, there is simply being. What happens if, for a moment, you stop adding anything to it? Not I am successful. Not I am unsuccessful. Not I am spiritual. Not I am lost. Not I am happy. Not I am sad. Simply, I am. Rest quietly in that simple presence without trying to turn it into a thought. Perhaps this is why silence can feel so powerful. Silence does not necessarily give you a new answer. Instead, it can reveal how many unnecessary answers the mind has been constantly creating. The mind says you must become something before you can be complete. You must achieve something, gain something, become important, be accepted, become wiser, become more successful, or reach some future moment where everything will finally be perfect. But every time one desire is fulfilled, another thought appears. Another goal arrives. Another future is imagined. The search continues. Spiritual inquiry asks a different question. What if the peace you are searching for is not something waiting at the end of another thought? What if the one who is constantly searching is already appearing within the awareness that is present now? This does not mean you should stop living or abandon your responsibilities. You can still work, love, learn, create, and pursue your goals. But perhaps you do not have to search for your fundamental existence through everything you do. You can allow life to move without demanding that every experience tell you who you are. Success may come and go. People may praise you and later forget you. Your circumstances may change. The body will change. The mind will continue to produce thoughts. But beneath all this movement, perhaps there is a stillness that does not need to be manufactured. Imagine the ocean during a storm. On the surface, waves rise and crash against one another. The water appears restless and violent. But far beneath the surface, there can be great silence and depth. The waves are real as waves, but they do not represent the entire ocean. In the same way, the restless mind is not necessarily the whole of your being. Thoughts may continue on the surface, while a deeper stillness remains unnoticed beneath them. You do not have to destroy the waves to discover the depth of the ocean. You simply have to stop believing that the surface is all that exists. So perhaps the question is not how can I permanently silence my mind? The question is, who are you when the mind is silent? And perhaps even more deeply, who are you when the mind is not silent? If you are truly only the mind, then you would disappear whenever thought becomes quiet. But something remains. And if you are aware when thoughts are present and aware when thoughts are absent, then perhaps your deepest nature is not limited to either condition. You are not required to escape thought. You are invited to discover what knows thought. You are not required to create silence. You are invited to notice what remains when silence appears. The next time you find yourself alone in a quiet moment, do not immediately reach for another distraction. Do not immediately search for another thought. Stay for a moment. Listen to the silence. Notice the sensations in the body. Notice thoughts appearing and disappearing. Then ask yourself quietly, if the mind becomes silent, who am I? Do not demand an answer. Let the question remain open. Perhaps the mind will offer many answers. Let those answers come and go as well. Return again to the simple presence that knows them. A thought is known. A feeling is known. A sound is known. Silence is known. And something remains through all of it. Perhaps the greatest mystery is that you have spent your entire life searching for yourself through changing things, while the one who is searching has never been absent. You were here before the next thought appeared. You are here while these words are being heard. And when these words end, there will still be the simple mystery of being. The mind may become silent, and you will still be. The mind may become restless, and you will still be. Thoughts may change, but the awareness in which they are known does not need to follow every change. So perhaps true silence is not the absence of life. Perhaps it is the moment when you stop running after every movement of the mind and discover the stillness that was quietly present all along. And perhaps, in that stillness, you do not become someone new. You simply stop forgetting what has always been here.